Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, we have two perfect examples that illustrates just how devoid of hope the country that we call Nigeria is. We're going to the Yahoo territory, and we're going to the top of the food chain in that industry. So we're talking Hush Puppy, and we're talking Mompha. So we're starting off with Hush Puppy. You are all familiar with the narratives of this guy, especially what is presently going on with them currently, these two chaps. So we start off with Hush Puppy. Hush Puppy, of course, you are all aware, was arrested in Dubai, extradited to the United States, held in one facility, and then moved to another state to be held in a even more rigid facility. Hush Puppy, of course, a lot of you may be aware, but some of you might not be aware, has already been denied bail in America for several reasons, amongst which his flight risk. So now we come back to Nigeria, of course, where Mompha is being held. As guys, I bring you this. Court orders EFCC to return Mompha's passport, wristwatches, and iPhone. So now this is now the thing now. So you just see already, I don't even know if I need to go any further, because that just tells the whole story right there. So Hush Puppy arrested in Dubai, extradited to the United States, where he's been held in a vice grip. And Mompha, of course, is being given back his properties in preparation, no doubt, to being released. Headline again: court orders EFCC to return Mompha's passport, wristwatches, and iPhone. So now let's now see how this is justified. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has been ordered to release all items seized from Ismaila Mustafa, popularly known as Mompha, by a federal high court sitting in Lagos. Justice Liman, who ruled on a July 6 application filed by Mompha's counsel, Mr. Gboyega Oyewole SAN, ordered the return of the items, which include 5 luxury wristwatches, an Apple Ipod, an iPhone 8 device, and a pair of sunglasses. They are reportedly amongst the items found on him during his arrest last October 19 in Abuja. The Federal High Court judge, who noted that the prosecution has the right to seize a property during an arrest, likewise a duty to approach the court for an interim order, stated that due process must be observed, and failure to do this is considered illegal. Liman further averred that the items had been with the EFCC for 8 months already. He said, "None of these items are listed as exhibits. None of the items was listed on the charge. At this stage, there is nothing on record that the items seized is being investigated on." So now that line is quite telling from this judge. Of course, he's already accusing the EFCC of relooting these guys, or rather looting these guys. We are so used to using the word relooting within the Nigerian space. It's just like a go-to. So he's rather accusing the EFCC, or rather cautioning them not to loot this guy's items, because of course they have no reasons to hold on to the items, is what he's saying. He's saying that those items are not listed on the charges that have been brought to him. So if the items are not listed on the charges that have been brought to the court, to the judge, and they are not listed as exhibits, then there's absolutely no reason why the EFCC should be in custody of it. So he has now ordered them to release them, but this is of course where it gets interesting, because of course now that order is in place, but are those items in place is really where the question is, because of course these people, it will come as no surprise to anyone if they have already distributed it amongst themselves, sold this as spoils of war or spoils of their duty, as a woof from their duties. So these items being asked to be returned is one thing, but these items now being returned is something that we need to see in the future, knowing the way the Nigerian system works. But let's just round it off. Mompha is standing trial alongside his company, Ismalob Global Investment Limited, on amended 22 count charges bordering on cyber fraud and money laundering to the tune of 33 billion naira. So 33 billion naira, at least, is not caught up yet with the NDDC, but there we have it. But what just needed to be flashed up is this guy's items are now being returned to him now. So his items first gets returned to him, and then of course the guy, because he's a lawyer, by the way, is an SAN. So we already know the territory that we're in. So his items first gets returned, and then he gets bill, and then the case gets deferred for like 5 years, and then it just peters out. So this is what will happen to Mompha. They will just bind him to the confines of Nigeria and say he should not travel. But why would they return his passport is the one thing. I can understand the wristwatches and the phones, etc. Although he should not have a phone in prison, that's another thing. But then of course, all prisoners in Nigeria, if you are sufficient enough equipped with money, you can have whatever it is that you want. But his items certainly should be returned. But his passport, why is that being returned? Because of course he is a flight risk. He might not be able to travel to the abroad, but he can certainly run away to some neighboring African country. I think these people, they always tend to run to Ghana, don't they? So his passport being returned is questionable. But then of course everything within the Nigerian legal system is questionable. And when you have an SAN and a judge that is already asking them to return the items of a Yahoo boy back to him, then you already know the direction of follow that this case is following effectively. So the contrast is quite telling. Where they have the rule of law in the United States, they are binding this guy within the confines of their laws, because of course you can almost be certain that no laws will be abused within the United States. It might be applied a lot more stringently than they would normally, but it will still be within the confines of the law. But within the Nigerian space, of course, the law is a naira note. So how wide and how big and what denomination that naira note is, and how much of it, how many of it is available, it determines the sort of justice that you get within the Nigerian space. So this just flashes it up, and the rivalry, of course, between Mompha and Hush Puppy, it carries on, because these two guys, these two characters, these two elements, they've been competing within the Nigerian social scene to see who the #1 kingpin is amongst the Yahoo boys. So Mompha came out to speak about what's his name, Hush Puppy's father, that his father was a taxi driver in Lagos, and then suddenly he's come to this sudden wealth by way of mockery. But then of course he was saying that in retaliation to Hush Puppy mocking him when he was picked up by the EFCC. So you see, it's swings and roundabouts with these people. But the list is quite telling anyway. 33 billion naira is when I first saw the 33, I wondered what would follow it, but then of course it's billion naira. So if you do the conversion, then we're talking an awful lot of money. I don't know what that is in dollars, but we're talking 50-80 million dollars at least. Money that has no fixed abode, money that doesn't have any sort of legitimate audit trail, but have the EFCC been able to do sufficient enough of a job to trail that money to ask him to account for it. So account for that money is really where they can get him, but not holding on to his wristwatches, as this judge is now saying. Conversations in the comment section, the dichotomous justice system between what obtains in a civilized country and what obtains in an uncivilized country is what is brought into sharp focus with this particular narrative now, with these two cases, these two examples that we're citing on this video. So come share thoughts about all that with me in the comment section. Say me see trouble. Am I a Yahoo boy? I am not, but it's Mompha or Hush Puppy. Come share thoughts about all this. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all three, then come into the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of this pronouncement by this Justice or Judge Liman, or Liman. His name is. So Judge Lehman, I'm pronouncing him as. So come tell me what your thoughts are on his pronouncement. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.